Welcome to America's Great number 85. I'm TJ.
And I'm Chris.
And I'm Lumpy.
And this is the review that reviews America's greatest moments, one issue at a time.
Buy war bonds and stamps.
Yep. Today, we are covering Detective Comics number 78. This one is called The Bond Wagon. It was, the executive editor was Whitney Elsewhere, the cover artist was Jack Burnley. The great writer who wrote this fantastic story was Joseph Green. It was penciled by Jack Burnley, inked and lettered by George Richos, and edited by Jack Schiff. Okay, Uncle Chris, why don't you tell us about our fantastic cover?
So we got an outline of Batman and Robin under the Detective Comics logo. And, you know, it says number 78 Boy Commandos. And then underneath we got some Patriots having a parade. That's about it. I mean, that's it in a nutshell.
Batman and Robin present a timely, patriotic story with real punch. The Bond Wagon.
We got them. They're playing the flute. Some couple guys are playing the drum.
I think it's Abe Lincoln, George Washington, and a little drummer boy.
They were honestly naming people in this comic that I don't know who they are, so.
All right.
We'll get there.
So, before we get into the comic properly, there is a book review, and the book we are covering this time is Indian Paint, the story of an Indian pony by Glenn Bulk.
It was a great book. Really good.
I like the pony part.
Yeah, they painted it. The pony was all painted up real nice. Yeah, it was great.
I don't think the paint is good for the pony itself, but whatever. We're in the 30s and 40s. It don't matter.
It was just lead paint. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
And of course, as always, we have Superman's most patriotic code.
Buy war bonds and stamps.
Buy stamps and war bonds.
Oh.
Nope. Your war bonds and stamps will build the weapons to defeat the Japanese.
Wow. He went right for it this time.
Right for the throat. Straight to the jugular.
Yeah, he went right for it. Listen, I got a better idea. Why don't you just send Superman over there to kill the Japanese?
Because that would be too easy.
I think they should hire Gotham police and send them.
I think we're going to be in trouble.
Get the job done.
I think we'd be speaking German right now if they did that.
Anyway, we open with another splash page. Lumpy, what is happening on our patriotic splash page here?
And for our patriotic splash page, this is big. This is the same exact picture from the cover, except now the parade is carrying an American flag, and there's a guy with a pitchfork. Yes.
Yeah.
And the backgrounds are white with colorless, except of the black and the stuff from the beginning.
We got a half a page of text on this one, too. That's different, too.
That's true, too.
Which we're not reading.
No, more than half a page, because it's even on the bottom, too. It does say Bob Kane all at the bottom, too.
No, we should read some of it, because you have to march behind the Minutemen, so buy those war bonds, buy those war stamps. Get in step, go marching on the victory with the Bond Wagon.
So what did Bob Kane do to get his name here?
What do you mean?
Well, when you read all the stuff for people who inked and lettered and stuff, I don't remember you saying Bob Kane.
No, but he was one of two guys who created Batman.
So, okay, even though he had nothing to do with this story, he's the...
No, Bob Kane was kind of... They credited him... He credited him instead of not Bill Finger for a long time. They kind of screwed out Bill Finger out of credits forever.
Yeah, and I know that.
It's kind of like Stan Lee putting his names on all the Marvel comics when they don't belong there.
Right, I agree. And that's why I was just confused, because even though... I think there was one comic where I didn't see Bob Kane on it, but he's been on every single one.
I think he was on every one, wasn't he?
I
thought there was one. We've done too many for me to look back, so I can't.
Check every one.
I refuse. I will just agree with you guys that he was on every one. So.
Yeah, you can't argue unless you can check every one.
And I'm not, so I won't argue it. So.
Anyway, this story opens with George Washington walking through the streets of Gotham in the year 1943, and people are surprised to see him because, I guess zombies rose, and now we have zombie patriotic figures coming back to fight the Nazis for us.
We need them.
Anyway, at home, while Dick is doing his homework, Bruce is obviously reading the paper.
What else would he be doing?
And Robin's talking about how people are complaining about rationing and how the people of 1776 felt and how they would think of us, of the people of 1943 complaining about rationing, of having to do these things.
They must have had some people bitching at that point, huh?
No one in America would ever complain about doing anything. Cause
I'm just saying, for them to start putting in the comic books and stuff, they're like, somebody's got to shut these people up. We don't have a choice right now.
Like, all you people are complaining, but look at what we're doing.
Yeah, look at Batman.
Yes.
Look, those people didn't realize they were fighting a revolutionary war like they were in 1776, according to Dick.
Well, they're going to find out once George Washington starts walking around and stuff. So.
And Dick's saying how they had some great heroes like Patrick Henry and Thomas Jefferson, who was a known slaver and racist, and Tom Paine and Sam Adams and...
Sam Adams makes good beer.
Great beer.
Yeah.
Great beer.
And, of course, George Washington, who wasn't much better. Anyway, but Bruce has to put in there, there's also Betsy Ross. And Molly Pitcher. And that's the only people they could come up with in 1943 as women who helped out because, you know.
Well, there wasn't that much time. Only 1946.
Nope. Of course not. Anyway, they're not having this. They're going to do something about this. They're going to get people to remember and buy more war bonds. And Bruce is going to do this for America's. He's going to go out and he's going to put out an ad in the newspaper.
Yeah. Asking for people to come and audition, right?
Yeah, they're going to come to audition because he's going to set up a bond wagon to sell bonds. Anyway.
This is bad. This is just...
Listen, I don't even have that much of a problem like TJ does with the patriotic stuff. I like the patriotic stuff sometimes, but this story itself is bad.
I'm trying to go along, T. You're doing really good. You're so enthusiastic. It's so bad.
It's not a good story. Like, I don't get what they're trying to do here even. It was literally just a commercial for war bonds and stamps.
It literally is just and we'll go through it, but man, it's so bad.
I don't know what you're talking about because people are showing up for Batman's ad. They got reporters coming up asking about what's going on and stuff, and then a bunch of people want to play the parts of Washington and Patrick Henry and Betsy Ross. And then we get individual interviews where Batman's interviewing an ex-captain and Batman asks why he's in with the Merchant Marine because, you know, all ship captains have to be in the war or else they're spies for Germany or something, I guess. And he says
I don't know.
He says he was, but the Germans sank his ship and he floated on a raft for days and until he was finally picked up. Now every time he hears a cannon fire or gunfire, he has PTSD. That's okay. Hey, Batman says, "You're perfect. You're gonna be our Bowman Richer of Captain John Paul Jones." I have no idea.
Yeah, we're gonna get you a ship.
And we're gonna get you shit. You're gonna be this guy. And then we get another applicant who was, I think, a college football player. Rose Bowl's college, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
The Rose Bowl, I think, is college.
Anyway, people call him Benedict Arnold because he threw a football game, but he explains he didn't actually do it. He was just sick that day. But now they all call him Benedict Arnold, and Batman's like, okay, you could be Nathan Howe. You're going to play that one. And so the Bond Wagon is a literal wagon being dragged by horses that says the Bond Wagon on it. And they start parading through the streets, I guess. That's what I took from it.
Looks like it, yeah. I think they're in a parade, right? Or is it just Batman riding around in the streets?
I think Batman is riding around the streets and it becomes a parade. People are just so excited for the Bond Wagon and everybody's coming out of their houses and now it's a parade.
Well, no, I don't think it's a parade. I think Batman goes from city to city and starts putting on reenactments of old events that have happened.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's actually
because
what it is.
They go to their first engagement and they reenact the capture of Fort
Ticonderoga.
Say that again?
Ticonderoga.
There's no S, there's a G at the end.
Well, from what really? Ticonderoga? Wow.
That's what it says.
I really thought it was Ticonderoga. Maybe I'm thinking like Ponderosa or something. I don't know. I really thought it was Ticonderoga. Ticonderoga, I guess it is.
And that's what they say.
I didn't even pick my phone up to look at it because it doesn't matter at all.
Anyway, they reenact this thing. Meanwhile, Batman's hawking war bonds because, you have to blunt the axe.
He put up a lemonade stand to do it.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a little lemonade stand. It says bonds on it.
He's gonna blunt the axe and the axis, man. And people are paying $100, $500, $1,000 for war bonds.
In 39?
43.
40?
43.
1943. They're handing over thousands of dollars?
Yes. For war bonds.
During war. During wartime.
It's patriotic!
When people
they
are
weren't,
rationing...
though.
When
they
people
weren't
are
doing it
rationing
until
their
Batman
food...
came.
Well,
They're rationing their food.
The war bond's an exciting thing, the war bond wagon, okay?
I guess. How many more pages we got on this stupid story?
It's a shame because it's bad.
It feels like it's like 50 pages long, too.
It does.
Especially with TJ's bad attitude with it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm excited for this one. This is great. Anyway, see, the Bond Wagon's doing such good things that it's getting the attention of the Nazis undercover in America. And so, they have a plan. They're about to put on the reimagining of... Woo!
Of what? I don't know where you're at.
I'm trying to find out what they're trying to do. I think it's George Washington crossing
the Delaware, I think it is.
Crossing the Delaware, but they are going to capture of the Hessians at Trenton. The Hessians at Trenton. Hessians are, I guess, Germans? I actually don't know the story behind the crossing the Delaware. I just know of it. I didn't know why he was doing it. Not gonna lie.
I'm confused completely because George Washington wasn't fighting the Germans.
Well, no, but
It's not.
That makes it even worse. Yeah, George Washington's fighting the Germans.
It did not. George Washington. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else was happening back then. Maybe they had another thing going on.
The Hessians
he was not fighting Germans.
The Hessians were hired mercenaries by the crown, they believe.
Okay.
And they were German. And since they're German, it's easy for the Nazis to go undercover and, take over that spot.
You're right. They can be
German those
soldiers.
Yeah. And so the next day, after Batman and Robin hired a bunch of extras, Robin's putting together the Hessians, telling them, hey, this is what we're going to do. And then the Nazis show up from underneath the cellar. I don't know how they got down there, but they did because they're Nazis and they're evil and they can do that stuff. And they hold everyone hostage. They're like, you don't need these actors because we have actual Germans to do this and we have real guns and those actors are going to go over here and get shot because that's going to stop the Bond wagon for some reason and, stop everybody from being patriotic and not cause people to buy more bonds because Germany just killed Americans on soil. Anyway, that's not the point.
That would not. Yeah,
that's not the point at all. Not the point at all. It's a good plan. Anyway, so the actors are crossing the Delaware but Robin's cold, so he starts using the fireplace and start billowing smoke and gets smoke signals out to Batman because I guess Robin learned from the Indians how to do smoke signals because, stuff like that. And Batman sees it. And he runs across the ice. But at the same time, George Washington and his crew lands on the opposite side and about to get shot. But no, Batman manages just in time to throw smoke pellets in there. And and tells all the actors, hey, look, those real Nazis with guns and stuff, they're bad guys. You regular people, go beat up those Germans and nothing's going to happen to you. And they do, because it's, America.
The Americans.
1940, whatever.
Yeah, it's America. And they beat them up. And George Washington can't tell a lie. I don't know why he told us that as he's chopping some Nazi in half.
He said he'd rather chop a Nazi down than a cherry tree. I like that one. That was funny.
But one of the Germans got a knife and he's about to stab Robin in the back, but Batman throws a gun at him. And then
throws a gun. Batman used the gun.
Yes, he does. He uses a gun. He literally uses a gun. He tackles one of the disguised Hessians. And just like history, they defeated the Hessians. I mean, not exactly, but,
So that's the end, right? That's the end, right?
Apparently the Hessians were...
I wish it was.
Hold on, I'm not done with the story.
That's the end, right? That's the end. Okay, the end. You want to hear my joke?
The Hessians... Apparently the Hessians were drunk when George Washington showed up and beat them.
Yes.
But this time, not so much. Anyway, this is where Robin explains that, or Batman explains that he saw Robin's smoke signals, because he could do Morse code and smoke signals, I guess. Anyway, sometime later, after Batman does his patriotic duty and questions the Nazis, he learns that they don't know who they were working for. They were given instructions by telephone or telegram. I don't know why they got both, or they don't know which one they got told by, but they did. Meanwhile, Hitler is not, happy about this. So he's gonna have his goons do another plan, and this time they're gonna go and sink the Bond wagon, or in this case, the Bond wagon.
Well, it's German, TJ. Come on.
I'm just reading it what it tells me. Yeah. I have to be accurate to the depiction of the Nazis. They are evil scum, and we have to destroy them all.
This is history happening on the page right now.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, on the good Bonham Richard, which is the name of the ship, they are loading real cannonballs into a real cannon.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, so apparently you have to buy a war bond in order to get on a boat to get an autograph from Batman and Robin because, gotta continue to sell those war bonds. Keep hawking them. We need every last dollar from you. Meanwhile, the ship gets torpedoed by a German sub. And the guy with PTSD who gets freaked out by real gunfire is, he's suffering from those effects. Because, he had a real gun. But Batman talks him out of this PTSD by saying, just deal with it. And he does, because, that's how PTSD works.
Well, because Batman told him to.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, well, why don't we keep Batman around for when people come back from war and stuff, too?
Right.
And so there's a ship with real cannons happening here as the sub's firing them and the ship's firing back. And Batman and Robin jump into the water and pretend to be driftwood and sneak up behind the Nazis because they're not too bright, because they're Nazis, obviously. And
stupid Nazis. Didn't even know there was people on that driftwood. Exactly.
And they attack them from behind, they beat them up, and they stop the plane once again, getting all of them. And the guy who was frightened by the guns is no longer frightened with those guns anymore because you can cure PTSD that way. You should tell all the people suffering from PTSD that you just got to get over it,
Well, you just got to get back on the ship and listen to
you just got to overcome your PTSD, yes. Okay?
Right.
Yes.
Anyway, the Nazis are not too happy about this, but they know about the Benedict Arnold guy, and so they're going to get him to betray his country because, he's a double-crosser. And so that football player is with Robin, and he's like, and then this German walks up to him and says, I need to talk to you. And he says, Robin, go away. I need to talk to this guy. And Robin's like, sure, I'll just go away. And he just walks away and doesn't suspect a thing. And then he's like, the German tells the football player, hey, you want some money to betray America? And he's like, no, oh, wait, yeah, I want to betray America. And so he goes to betray America, but Robin follows him. And he gets on his horse and then, just like Paul Revere, he goes and warns Batman. Because that's what Paul Revere did, go to warn one person about Nazis and stuff. Anyway, Batman says he'll be right down, and they go, and they to the headquarters of the Nazis, and beat up the Nazis. There's punches thrown, chairs thrown. I forgot to mention. See, you guys don't understand. Because you can't underestimate Nazis. Batman tells us this. He says they are tricky.
Oh, he does tell us this. I thought you knew why, but I didn't know Batman told us.
Yeah, no. See, Batman tells us how they're tricky. They use any substitute as a weapon. That's the ersatz in him. I didn't know what that meant, but
I still don't know what that means.
Apparently, it is a lesser quality item or inferior, so they kind of use weapons that are inferior than the original. Because yes, I looked that up.
Okay, I'm gonna take your word for it.
That's what I got out of it. So yeah, I guess that was an insult. They use inferior things. Anyway, the fight continues, and then Batman punches the lead zombie into a picture of Adolf Hitler. Because, you're a Nazi. Even though you're undercover in America, you gotta hang up pictures of Adolf Hitler so that you can get caught when they walk in because you're a Nazi and you're stupid. Anyway, they find the football player unconscious in another room, and he he was actually double-crossing the Nazis. He wanted to get information. And so the Nazis shot him. And so, the next day he explains that to Batman and Robin, and they were like, yep, we were right to pick you. And because of his heroics, some American football team comes and says, hey, you could be one of our football players now. You're a hero because of this. And so at the Independence Hall in Philadelphia, they signed a new Declaration of Independence, and where Batman tells us, you can either buy war bonds or be enslaved to Germany in their bondage. And fellow Americans, we salute you. The end. So patriotic.
And there's a little sign there that says, sign here for war bond.
I thought it was a poopy story, but I can sense TJ's hatred of it, and I wasn't getting involved.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't mind patriotic stuff, but I do think the story was terrible.
Yeah. Listen, I enjoy the patriotic stuff. Like I do.
But I like when Superman's up there saying for truth, justice, and the American way and stuff like that. But I don't like this story.
This story was like it was so bad. Well,
it felt very written only to sell war bonds and stamps, is what it felt like.
And that's what it was. It was a commercial to buy war bonds and stamps.
Yeah.
They didn't put any thought or anything into it. I just didn't think it was good. It was bad.
So this says featured characters Batman, supporting characters Robin, antagonists Baron von Luger, Karpf, and the Nazi Party. But Baron von Luger and Karpf say single appearance, but Nazi Party does not say single appearance.
It is not.
And then other characters, Matt Wilkins and Passon Pete Arnold. Anything else, TJ?
What? This was a great comic. The epitome of American propaganda at its finest.
You loved it.
Fantastic story.
I'm even pro-American propaganda. Just didn't like the story.
Not this one.
Not this one.
So, do you know what Hitler's favorite letter was?
Hey.
Huh? Not Z. Get it? Nazi, not Z.
America!